Most people run from pain. They avoid it, complain about it, and make excuses. But you know what? Pain is a privilege. It's a gift. It's the thing that separates the weak from the strong, the winners from the quitters, the legends from the average. You don't become great without it. You don't build character, discipline, or resilience in comfort. It happens through pain, through struggle, through failure, through those moments where you feel like you have nothing left, but you keep going anyway. People will ask me all the time, Kobe, how did you become one of the greatest? And my answer is simple. I embraced the struggle. I didn't run from it. I ran toward it. I didn't make excuses. I made adjustments. I didn't complain. I got better. And that's what separates the great ones from everyone else. Pain will do one of two things. It will either break you or it will build you. And that choice, that's yours. Pain is the ultimate test. It doesn't just challenge you, it exposes you. When everything is going great, when life is smooth, when there are no obstacles, everybody looks strong. Everybody looks disciplined. Everybody looks like they have their life together. But that's an illusion. The real test is when life punches you in the mouth, when things go wrong, when your body is tired, your mind is exhausted, and every part of you is screaming to stop. That's when you find out who you really are. Most people break at that moment. They make excuses, they blame the circumstances, the bad luck, the unfair situations. But the great ones, the legends, they lean into the pain, they welcome it, because they understand that pain is the price you pay for greatness. It's the price of resilience, of mental toughness, of an unbreakable mindset. When I tore my Achilles in 2013, I had two choices: stay down or get up. My body was broken, the pain was unbearable, and in that moment, the easy choice was to quit. But I refused. I stood up, I walked to the free throw line, I took my shots. Because that's who I am. And that's the mentality you need to have. Pain strips away the lies, it removes the ego, it forces you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I built for this? Most people run away from that question because they don't want to know the answer. But if you truly want to be great, you have to embrace the struggle. You have to be willing to suffer, because pain is the gatekeeper of success, and only those who have the heart to endure it will ever reach the other side. Let me be real with you. Most people don't have discipline. They say they want to be great, but they don't want to suffer for it. They want the rewards, but they don't want to pay the price. They want the success, but they don't want the struggle. And that's why they fail, because success doesn't come from motivation. It comes from discipline. It comes from showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not. And the only way to build that kind of discipline is through pain. Pain is what separates the amateurs from the professionals, the weak from the strong, the average from the elite. When I was playing, my morning started at 4 a.m. While other players were sleeping, I was working. While they were resting, I was grinding. And you know what? It wasn't because I felt like it. It wasn't because I was motivated every day. It was because I had built the discipline to push through pain, to train when I was exhausted, to keep going when my body was telling me to stop. And that's the difference. Most people wait to feel good before they take action. But champions, they take action regardless of how they feel. They understand that pain is temporary, but discipline lasts forever. Every time you push through pain, you build discipline. Every time you fight through exhaustion, you get stronger. Every time you refuse to quit, you get one step closer to greatness. So the next time you feel tired, the next time you feel like skipping the hard work, remember this: pain is the training ground of discipline. And if you can't embrace it, you'll never be great. Everybody wants to be great, but very few are willing to suffer for it. And the reason? They are obsessed with the outcome instead of the process. They want the glory, but they don't want the grind. They want the championship, but they don't want the early mornings, the late nights, the relentless hours in the gym. And that's why they fail. Because success isn't about what you get, it's about who you become. And you become great in the process. When I was a kid, I didn't just dream about winning championships. I was obsessed with getting better. I didn't care about trophies. I cared about the work. I loved the early mornings. I loved the long practices. I loved the exhaustion, the struggle, the grind, because I knew that's where greatness was built. Most people treat pain like an enemy. I treated it like my best friend. Every missed shot, every loss, every hard workout, that was fuel, that was growth. That was the price of greatness. And if you can't learn to love the process, if you can't learn to love the pain, you will never reach the top. Because the ones who make it, they don't just accept pain, they chase it. They thrive in it. They understand that pain isn't something to be avoided, it's something to be embraced. Because every time you struggle, every time you suffer, every time you push through the discomfort, you are transforming into the person you were meant to be. And that's the real victory. Most people aren't built for greatness, not because they lack talent, not because they don't have potential, but because they can't handle pain. The moment things get hard, they quit. The moment they face resistance, they break. They let pain define them instead of using it to grow. But the great ones, the legends, they embrace pain. They see it as a test, as a challenge, as an opportunity to prove how bad they want it. Because the truth is, pain doesn't break the strong, it makes them. Think about the greatest athletes, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest minds in history. They all suffered. They all went through struggle. They all had moments where they could have quit, but they didn't. Because they understood the truth. Pain is a privilege. It's a chance to prove yourself, to sharpen your mind, to build your strength. And that's what separates the great from the average. The average person complains about pain. The great ones thank it. They see it as fuel, as motivation, as proof that they are pushing themselves beyond their limits. So the next time you feel like giving up, the next time pain tries to break you, remember this. This is your moment. This is your chance to rise, to separate yourself from the pack, to prove to yourself and the world that you are built for this, because pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. Pain is not just a test, it's a purifier. It burns away your weaknesses, your doubts, your fears, and forces you to level up. Most people live their entire lives avoiding pain, never realizing that the very thing they run from is the thing that would make them strong. Weakness is not something they're born with, it's something you choose to keep. And every time you avoid pain, every time you take the easy way out, you reinforce that weakness. You teach yourself that comfort is more important than growth. But the great ones, they understand that pain is the fire that forges greatness. When you put metal in the fire, it doesn't get weaker, it gets stronger. It becomes sharper, tougher, more resilient. And that's exactly what pain does to you if you let it. But you have to be willing to step into the fire. You have to be willing to endure the burn, the struggle, the discomfort. When I was 12 years old, I played in the summer league and didn't score a single point the entire season. Not one. That kind of failure would break most people. They make excuses, quit, or settle for being average. But I didn't. I went into the fire. I spent the entire all-season training shooting thousands of shots a day, pushing through exhaustion, through pain, through failure, until my weakness was gone. The next season, I dominated. That's the power of pain. It's not here to break you. It's here to break your weaknesses. And the harder you lean into it, the stronger you become. The question is, do you have the heart to endure the fire? Most people quit too soon. They hit a roadblock, they feel discomfort, they struggle a little, and they stop. They convince themselves that it's not worth it, that they're not good enough, that maybe it's just not meant to be. But that's a lie. Greatness doesn't go to the most talented, it goes to the most relentless. It goes to the ones who refuse to stop, the ones who push past exhaustion, past failure, past self-doubt, until there's no option left but success. The truth is, pain is what separates the ones who dream from the ones who achieve. Everybody wants success, everybody wants the rewards, but very few are willing to suffer for it. And that's why they never make it. They stop at the first sign of struggle, not realizing that the struggle is part of the process. Every time you push through pain, you build stamina. Every time you refuse to quit, you get stronger. And every time you keep going when others stop, you separate yourself from the competition. That's what Mamba Mentality is about. It's about refusing to quit no matter what. When I tore my rotator cuff, I switched to shooting left-handed because stopping was never an option. When you're in the gym and your muscles are burning, when you're on the court and your legs feel like they can't move anymore, when you're chasing a dream and everything feels like it's against you, that's not a sign to stop. That's a sign to keep going. That's a sign that you're getting closer. The pain is testing you, asking you, how bad do you really want this? And most people fail that test. They let pain convince them to quit. But the ones who make it, the ones who achieve greatness, they take that pain, that exhaustion, that suffering, and they use it as fuel. They embrace it, they love it, because they know the truth. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the path. The difference between the good and the great is simple. Who shows up when the pressure is on? Who delivers when the world is watching? When everything is on the line and the moment is bigger than anything you faced before, do you rise or do you fold? Pain teaches you how to handle pressure, because pressure is just pain with higher stakes. If you can't handle pain in practice, if you can't push through exhaustion in training, if you can't keep your focus when things get hard, how are you going to handle it when the championship is on the line? When I played the NBA Finals, when I took the last shot, when I had the ball in my hands, in the final seconds, I was calm, I was locked in. Not because it was easy, but because I had already been through the pain. I had already faced the pressure 1,000 times in my own mind, in my training, in my preparation. I made pain my home, so pressure never scared me. That's what separates the ones who win from the ones who crack. Most people fear pressure because they haven't trained themselves to be comfortable with pain. They shy away from the hard moments. They avoid the struggles, the extra reps, the long nights. Then when life puts them in a high stakes moment, they break. But if you train with pain, if you embrace struggle, if you make discomfort a part of your daily life, pressure becomes nothing. It becomes routine, because you already know what it feels like to suffer, to push through exhaustion, to battle through adversity. Pressure isn't the enemy. It's the proof that you're where you're supposed to be. So the next time you feel the weight of expectation, the fear of failure, the pressure of the moment, don't back down, step into it, own it. Because the ones who can handle pain under pressure are the ones who make history. Most people look for a way out, the great ones look for a way through. And that's the difference. Pain forces you to decide, are you going to make excuses or are you going to find solutions? When you hit a wall, when things go wrong, when everything feels impossible, do you stop? Do you blame the situation? Or do you adapt, adjust, and find a way to win? When I broke my shooting hand, I didn't stop playing. I learned how to shoot with my left. When I was injured, I didn't sit out. I found a way to contribute, to lead, to still push myself to be better. Because excuses don't get results. Pain forces you to think differently, to push past your limits, to get creative with your approach. The average person lets pain stop them. They say, it's too hard. I can't do it. Maybe it's just not meant for me. But the great ones, they refuse to accept that. They say, there has to be a way, and they find it. They take the pain, the setbacks, the failures, and they turn them into fuel. Because in the end, success isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning how to use pain to your advantage. It's about outworking, outsmarting, and outlasting the competition. It's about finding solutions where others see obstacles. And if you can do that, there is no limit to what you can achieve. When I broke my finger, I had it snapped back in place and kept playing, because I understood something most people don't. Pain is not a reason to stop, it's a reason to keep going. If you quit when things get hard, you'll never achieve anything great. But if you learn to push through, to keep grinding, to never back down, you will become unstoppable. At some point, you're gonna ask yourself, is this worth it? The early mornings, the late nights, the exhaustion, the sacrifices, the pain, Every great athlete, every great leader, every great mind has faced that moment where they have to decide if they're willing to suffer for what they want or if they're going to walk away. And you know what separates the champions from the rest? Their answer. Because when that moment comes, the great ones don't hesitate. They don't back down. They don't complain. They look pain in the face and say, bring it on. Because they know that every drop of sweat, every moment of struggle, every ounce of pain is just another step closer to their dream. Pain is not an obstacle. It's a sign that you're on the right path. The truth is, every level of success requires a new level of pain. Every time you reach the top of one mountain, you realize you're just at the bottom of another. And the only way to climb higher is to endure even greater struggles, even tougher challenges, even more pain. That's a reality most people don't want to hear. They think once they make it, the suffering stops. But that's not how it works. The higher you climb, the harder the game gets. The competition gets stronger, the expectations get higher, the pressure gets more intense. And if you're not ready for that, if you haven't been through the fire, if you haven't trained yourself to handle pain, you will crumble. That's why pain is so important. It doesn't just build you, it prepares you. It hardens you, sharpens you, gives you the resilience you need to keep leveling up. When I won my first championship, I didn't stop, I didn't celebrate for long, because I knew the next season was coming. I knew the challenges were only going to get bigger. So I trained harder, I suffered more, I pushed myself beyond what I thought was possible because I knew that was the only way to stay at the top. And the same applies to you. Whatever level you're at right now, pain is preparing you for the next one. Every struggle, every setback, every hardship, it's all part of the process. It's all making you stronger for the battles ahead. So don't just endure pain, embrace it, use it, let it shape you into the person you need to become for the next level of your journey. Because pain isn't a dead end, it's a doorway. And the only way to greatness is to walk through it. When you're exhausted, when you're beaten down, when you feel like there's nothing left in the tank, that's when your true self shows up. And for most people, they don't like what they see because they see weakness, they see excuses, they see someone who wants success but isn't willing to bleed for it. But the great ones, they look in the mirror and they see a warrior. They see someone who refuses to quit, someone who welcomes the pain because they know it's shaping them into something greater. That's the test pain gives you. Who are you when it hurts? When I tore my Achilles, I could have given up. I could have walked away, made excuses, blamed the injury, but that's not who I am. I stood up, I walked to the free throw line, I knocked down both shots, because in that moment, I wasn't thinking about the pain, I was thinking about the standard I had set for myself. Pain forces you to decide, are you the kind of person who quits, or are you the kind of person who fights? There is no in between. The world is full of people who talk about what they want, but the ones who actually achieve it, they've been through hell. They've been tested. And when pain knocked on their door, they stood up and said, is that all you got? So ask yourself, who are you when things get hard? Because the answer to that question will decide everything about your future. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants the rewards, the recognition, the legacy, but the truth is most people don't deserve it because they haven't paid the price. They haven't suffered for it. They haven't bled for it. Success is not given, it's earned, and the currency, pain. Every great champion, every legend, every icon has gone through suffering that most people wouldn't survive. They've put in the hours, the sweat, the heartbreak. They've sacrificed everything to be great, and that's why they stand at the top. Because they earned it. And when I woke up at 4 a.m. to train, when my competition was sleeping, I was earning it. And when I played through injuries, when I studied film for hours, when I pushed myself past every mental and physical limit, I was proving that I deserved to be great. And And that's what pain does. It separates the ones who say they want it from the ones who actually earn it. Pain is the toll booth on the road to success, and you don't pass through without pain. So the next time you feel pain, the next time you struggle, don't see it as a reason to stop. See it as proof that you're on the right path. See it as proof that you're earning the success most people only dream about. Because in the end, success isn't about luck, talent, or connections. It's about who's willing to suffer the most for it. At the end of the day, pain is the ultimate test. It's going to separate the ones who truly want it from the ones who just like the idea of success. It's going to ask you one question: how bad do you really want this? And the ones who make it, the ones who reach legendary status, they answer that question with their actions. They embrace the pain. They outwork the competition. They push past every excuse until success has no choice but to belong to them. So ask yourself, are you paying the price, or are you just wishing for success? Because if you're not willing to suffer for it, then you don't deserve it. But if you're willing to bleed, to push, to suffer, then nothing in this world can stop you.